What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to a special Thursday edition of the Sean vs. Wild podcast. It's me, the man, the myth, the Sean Thriller Smith, your host as always. On today's show, we're going to be finishing up my conversation with Christian Thompson from Falling in Reverse, part 2 of a 2-part series. On the show today, he's going to be talking about a lot of road stories, tour stories, the brutality of summer touring. He's also going to give you some deets on where to get the best donut and which donut's the best. And I was really stoked that we both apple fritter number 1, cinnamon roll number 2, and all other donuts are not as good. But he's going to give you some tips on where to find the best donut. He's also going to give you some tips on how to get shredded and look just as good as he does. And he's going to answer actually a lot of Q&A. A couple weeks ago, we asked on Twitter to submit some questions for the podcast, and you guys really pulled through. And for doing that, you're going to get your name and your questions read on the air, and Christian's going to answer those for you. So make sure you tune into that. Also, guys, thank you so much for tuning into part 1. If you haven't yet, probably key. So pause this, listen to part 1, and then come back and get part 2. So make sure to check that out. I thank everybody for tuning in to part 1 already. It's been very successful, so couldn't be more thrilled with that. I just want to give a big shout out here to Joe Brock at Supernatch Studios. He's the one that makes this show possible every single week, making me sound good, making me sound natch, super natch, and doing that. So I want to thank him for booping the dials and just making it happen. So Joe, big thank you to that and for that. And then guys, that's going to be pretty much it for me. You heard most of my spiel on Tuesday. So if you do like what you hear, please like, share, and subscribe. Could not be more important for the growth of this show. You can check me out at SeanVersusWild.com, SeanVersusWild.com, SeanVersusWild.com. You can check me out, Sean vs. Wild on Facebook. I'm on iTunes, so you can subscribe on iTunes, get a lot of the deets. Next week is going to be Assuming We Survive, so if you're fans of Falling in Reverse, Assuming We Survive is going to be on next week. So please subscribe, check it out on Podcast Addict or Stitcher or wherever you like to get your podcasts. You can friend me on Instagram. That's at Sean vs. Wild Podcast. Twitter at Sean vs. Wild, Sean vs. Wild at gmail.com. I got to handle all this business, guys. You know how it is. If you have a business, you got to grow that business. You got to get that name out there. So Sean vs. Wild. I appreciate you guys checking it out. This is part 2 of my conversation with Christian Thompson. Sit back, relax, and let's get wild. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your honesty.
Honesty.
I appreciate your honesty. Am I saying that correctly? I don't know. Is it a silent H?
Hard H.
It's very hard. Hard H. Honesty. Well, hey, guys, I'm back here. This is the Sean vs. Wild podcast. This is part 2 with Christian Thompson from Falling in Reverse.
What's up?
What's up? Dude, I can't believe you showed up for 2 podcasts. I was lucky enough to get you for 1. Now I've got you for 2, buddy.
Yeah, well, I'm a team player.
I appreciate that. So the last podcast we spent answering pretty much one single question, which was how you got into Falling in Reverse. And now you're in Falling in Reverse. Now you have a wildly successful album.
Yep.
And let's just go ahead and pick up from there. What's next on the agenda?
Right now we're doing a bunch of festivals. We just did one. We did Carolina Rebellion, which was, I don't know what the attendance was, but last year it was like 90,000. So I'd say it's around there.
Well, that's not bad business.
Not bad business. So we did that one, and we are playing Chicago Open Air. I believe we're main stage on that. So it's going to be like Slayer, Kiss, Anthrax.
I saw that.
Megadeth.
I think I even put it on there. I just posted on Facebook when you sent that. When you posted that flyer, I just replied. I was just like, I want your laugh. In the James Vanderbeek from Varsity Blues voice.
Yeah, so we're doing that one. Then we're doing Warped Mexico actually in a week from today.
That's got to be new. I've never heard of Warped. Is this the first year that they've done Warped Mexico?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think they
I know they did Warped UK and maybe Warped Australia before.
They did Warped Alaska too last year.
Fair enough, but Alaska's still in the United States.
Right, but it was like I don't even know who performed that, but it was like 2
Probably-
days before Warped started.
Like Portugal the Man. That's like the only band I can think of from Alaska.
They're from Alaska?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, originally, because I followed them when they were a band called Anatomy of a Ghost, and they were on Equal Vision, and they were all definitely from Alaska, and then members of that band are in Portugal the Man. I'm sure they probably relocated to like Washington or
Civilization.
a more urban like area of the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
So
I had no idea. That's pretty cool though. I've never heard of a band from there.
that's the only band that I can think of.
It's probably the only band.
Guys, if you're listening to this and you're from Alaska and you're in a band or you know some Alaskan bands, you better let me know at Sean vs. Wild at Twitter. Make that happen.
Jesus.
It's become a thing.
Yeah.
All these Alaskan bands are just going to come out and be like, dude, why didn't you know
Take over the scene.
I was there? Dude, yes. This is Alaska core, correct?
Alaska core.
Are you hardcore, metalcore, Alaska core? What's up?
It's a new genre.
So you're playing Warped Tour Mexico.
Yeah, it's in Mexico City. How many people is it? I think it's 20 or 30,000. It's a lot of people.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's Incubus, Good Charlotte, Bullet for My Valentine, then us.
Well, you were just talking about that last podcast. So
Yeah.
that's Warped Tour.
Mexico.
I mean, Incubus is playing Warped Tour?
Yeah.
That's
Kinda weird.
nuts.
I think I imagine they're doing like a Mexican. They're probably doing a North American run for their new album, and then they
Fair
just
enough.
happen to be in Mexico, and they're just
Right
slap
place,
them on.
right time.
Yeah, exactly. So doing that, then we're doing Chicago Open Air with the Kiss and Slayer and all that. We have another one. It's in Maine. I can't remember the name of it. Then we got 2 Warped Tour. We're doing Vegas and Pomona.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Pomona's a great one because it's
Yeah, we didn't do that last year. I don't think they had one in Pomona. Or did they? I don't know.
well, they have to because I'm pretty sure that's Kevin Lyman's home turf there in Pomona.
Maybe we did.
At the racetrack.
I'm just like blanking or something. They all kind of blend together. Warped Tour blends together for me.
Yeah, I remember the venues basically.
Yeah.
Like I know that Pomona's at the racetrack.
Did we do that one? I don't know.
It's
man.
at like a horse racing track. So I remember that. And then I remember like
Oh yeah. I didn't. I don't know if we did that or. I've definitely been to that one though.
yeah,
like 2
and then
years
there's
ago.
always like somewhere in I want to say Connecticut or something where there's like the train station that rolls through.
Is it Hartford? Maybe?
Yes, I think it might be Hartford, and then there's like a train station in the middle of it.
Yeah, I think we did that one. Yeah, they all blend together, man. Like Warped Tour, like was just like one giant day for me.
It was just one giant sunburn.
Yeah, just on it's like they're all like concrete parking lots.
Mm-hmm.
It's brutal.
It is. I've told people that before, and I mean, I could only imagine because how many? Well, was it last year your first year doing? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we did it. I mean, we weren't anything, of course, the lowest on the totem pole, but hey, at least we were on the damn totem pole. That helped.
Right.
But we did it in 13 and 14, and it is the most brutal tour maybe ever.
Did you guys do it in a van?
Oh yeah.
Double brutal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not
my
only did we
God.
do it in a van, we did it with no driver.
Wow.
So we drove ourselves and we did our own merch on top
Yeah.
of that. So, we had a merch guy for some of the dates and stuff, but it's like we do our own merch, play the shows, pack
Yeah.
up, did the barbecue or did catering.
Well, you're saving a lot of money doing that way.
Yeah, I couldn't say that we came back with a lot of money, but
Well, I had a friend's band who they did Warped Tour in like a van or whatever, and like they all walked away with like good money, like
Yeah.
more than some of the people that did the headlining stage.
paying
like,
for that
I
bus and
literally-
everything, yeah.
Had a discussion like they told me, like one of the people that performed on our stage, I think, or maybe it was the other one, but they were like, they told me how much they walked away with, and I was like, okay, and then like I asked my friends, and they told me, and it was like significantly more.
That's insane.
Because you got to think, like, if you're in a bus, that's like $1,000 a day just to like have the bus and then gas and then a driver. It's like a lot of money to tour.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
lot
literally
of expenses
tens
going
of
up.
thousands of dollars for Warped Tour just to be in a bus, or like one of those, what do they call them, like rocket ships or whatever, like the
Yeah,
smaller,
like a sprinter type thing. Or a bandwagon.
Yeah, bandwagon.
Bandwagon.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I think those are like 800 or something, and then you're talking like 1,000 to I don't know, 1,300 for like a tour bus.
You know, all bandwagons are just from like a couple hours north of here.
Yeah,
in
Indianapolis.
Carmel or whatever.
Yep.
Right outside of Indy.
Yeah, I found that out like not long ago. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah, I know. Like Hands Like Houses, I remember on 2013 Warped Tour, Maddie, their drummer, and I became pretty darn close. I just wished him happy birthday on Twitter the other day.
Very nice.
And he said hello. So it's the first time I talked to him in a while. But he was like, "Yeah, you know, like we were like in Texas," and he was just like, "Yeah, we're about to go to some place called Carmel, Indiana." I was like, "Oh, I know where Carmel is," and they're like, "Yeah, we got to drop the bandwagon off there." I'm like, "Well, I'll be damned."
Yeah.
That's where they come from.
Yeah, I remember one of our tour, I think Warped Tour, I don't remember where it ended, but it ended like pretty far away from there. And people were like kind of bummed. They were just like, "Oh my God, we have like a 3-day drive just to drop this thing off."
And then just fly back home.
Yeah. Fly right back to
We
where
have
they
to go
were.
from California to Indiana just to fly back to
It
California.
ended, I think it ended in San Diego or Phoenix or something like that. So it was
Yeah.
like pretty far away.
Man, some of those dates are brutal, especially like New Mexico or Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas wasn't that
gets
bad
so hot.
for us because we all had hotel rooms. Like we all got our own room, so we were like at the Flamingo, or no, I got my own place at the Flamingo. I think we were there for like 2 days or something like that, 2 or 3
Sick.
days. So I just got my own place. Just wanted to be alone, you know. At that point, it was like day 41 or something. I feel, and maybe I don't know, but it's just like one of those things where you're on a bus with the same like. It depends on how many, but 5 to 12 people, and you're just like, you will go crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, like even if it's your best friend, you spend that much time with them, being 2 feet away from them at all times in 110-degree weather on blacktop surfaces. You're just like at edge. You know what I mean? Like Warped Tour is brutal, dude. It's a hustle.
And I didn't even take into consideration because, as difficult as it was for us, like being in a van and stuff like that, how crazy is it probably to be in a bus or in a bandwagon, but not really be able to even leave it because of just the sheer amount of kids that would go nuts if they saw you.
We got lucky. Well, yeah, that's a thing, but we got lucky because we hired people from other bands for Warped Tour, So we only had a merch guy and like maybe a guitar tech or something on our bus outside of the band. So we all got like deluxe bunks, like the double bunks where you could like sit up straight. That's like a luxury.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I mean?
really nice.
People don't know. Like that sounds like sucky or something.
I slept on the floor of a van.
Right. So I had like an air condition with like a little TV or something, and like it was like and Wi-Fi. I had Wi-Fi on the bus. That's a thing.
Hell, that was like better than summer camp.
Dude. Incredible.
I had the greatest summer of my life.
I could sit up, man. Just like being able to, like, there's so many times where I've woken up and slammed my head into the ceiling of like a bunk. And just to be able to like just sit up straight was amazing.
It was the best damn summer of my life. It was just like that summer from Heavyweights,
Right.
When the fat kid jumped the other kid on a go-kart. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that.
Dude, that movie. Ben Stiller.
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching that like not long ago, and I'm like, oh my God, Ben Stiller's in this movie.
Yeah. And he's basically the exact same character that he was, or that he later would be in Dodgeball.
Yep.
Like almost the exact same character, just, a decade before.
Yep. Exactly.
So, man, you are like Ben Stiller right now. You must be you must be Percocizing, man, with that gallon of water.
Sorry.
Gotta stay hydrated out there.
Gotta stay hydrated.
I'm still on this Yingling here. Well, and by say I'm still on it, I mean this is like my third one.
Right.
But are you a Yingling fan? Are you a beer fan?
No.
Not a beer fan?
I'm not a carb fan.
Oh yeah.
I don't do carbs.
That explains why your body looks so much different than mine, actually. We basically are Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito in twins right now.
Yeah. Well, I just got when I joined that band, The Hollowed, that we previously mentioned last podcast, the singer basically told me to lose weight, like right when I got there.
Dang.
He was just like, you need to lose 20 pounds. And I was like, I was actually down. You know what I mean? I was at that point where I was driving a forklift at work, and there was a speed bump that I had to go over hundreds of times a day. And I remember hitting that speed bump and feeling like my boobs jiggle and my stomach jiggle.
Yeah, isn't that the best?
And I was just like, dude, it was to the point where I was like stuffing my stomach into my, like pulling my boxers over it, to like compression boxers to tighten it against my body.
Basically like Spanx. I was basically wearing Spanx
and I
to
was
work.
just like, dude, I gotta gotta do something about
Do
this.
the people at GE really judge you based on
No.
your... Yeah,
I
gonna
was
say.
like I was a 10 there at GE. I was a GE 10, like
I was
hard.
a 13.
I was
at GE.
definitely Brad Pitt at GE. It was all like 40-year-old dudes to like 70-year-old dudes, you know, like company dudes who've been there for life.
Right,
kind of
exactly.
thing. And I just like come in like, I don't know, I'm just like some
The young
skinny
hotshot.
skateboarder dude, like whatever. They none of them liked me until like later, then they like love me. And now they always text me, like hit me up like, I bought your album. And I'm just like, that's so sick.
Don't you just love it though when people are of a total different generation and they're just like, man, I love the album, I want to support you, and you know that they don't want anything from you because they don't even grasp. Like, I feel like those people probably don't even grasp how important your album is or how big your album is to certain people. You know?
It's really cool, man. I had like 5 or 6 workers. Like one of them, this dude Kevin, still calls me to this day. Like every couple months, he'll call me and like check in. I'm just like, that's so like what a nice guy.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
Yeah. Once I quit somewhere, it's not like I'm talking to the dude from Guitar Center every week.
No.
You know? That's pretty awesome of them, though.
Yeah, it was
GE.
great, man.
I've
I've had a bunch of friends like hit me up, like, you know, who like bought the album, like that I would never expect. They're just like, yeah, dude, bought it. Or like I hit up Jordan Haynes, you know, and I was like, hey, dude, what's your email? I'm going to send you the album. He's like, already bought it. I was like, oh,
That's
dude,
sick.
so tight, man. And like that happened several times. I'm like, hey, what's your email? And they're like, oh, I already got it. And
That's
I'm
so
like,
awesome.
That's a great feeling. Like,
Yeah.
what a friend.
Exactly. That's what's so cool about where we come from, though, is I feel like everybody's just so, I mean, for the most part, just down to earth. And it's like we all want to see each other succeed because if one person succeeds from where we're from,
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. And also, too, that can open the door for someone else to maybe be able to do
Right.
that, too.
Like I
know?
almost got like one of my friends in Let Live. Like they had a vacant guitar slot. Like they just broke up, but you know, like they were like down to try them out or whatever. And I was like, that's awesome that I could, you know,
Oh, that's sick.
be the middleman for something like that. Because you know he was in a local band or whatever, and I was like, here you go, dude.
That's so
It
sick.
didn't pan out, but you know, like it's really tight.
just be able to help somebody else get their foot in the door.
Yeah.
Maybe make something of themselves, you know?
I mean, I'm definitely down to like support my friends if I think they're worth it. I'm not going to mention someone who or reference someone to a band or whatever that like I know they're going to blow it or they're you know what I mean? Because
Right.
that looks bad on me.
Exactly. I mean, even if you work a 9-to-5 job, you're not going to be like, hey, my friend, the dipshit.
Right.
should
Hey, my
be-
friend, he's a really bad coke addict. He's good for it though. Right?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's going to work really hard for you, man.
I'm
You
not-
should give him this job.
not doing it. Yeah.
Well, so you got quite a few. You guys doing a lot of festivals. It seems like.
Yeah. Tons of festivals.
So you're going to be on the festival circuit this summer. Let me ask you here, because I got to know. Because I always have some awesome tour stories, and my tours are nowhere near as cool as yours. Do you have any awesome stories from tour? What are some good ones that stand out to you?
Most of them I can't say on this podcast, I feel, but
Your parents might be listening.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I definitely have always been attracted to the chaos. Like a lot of my friends are like rowdy dudes.
Yeah.
But I've never
That's the best
been
part
that guy.
about being from here, because people don't give a shit.
Dude, they don't. And I've always been the dude who's on the outside, you know?
Right.
Just watching it. Like, I just want to witness this chaos. I'm never partaking in it. Like, I think I'm just too scared. I'm too much of a wimp to do it. But, you know, there were so many times on the tour where I would just sit back and watch chaos unfold. Like, one time we were driving, I think it was Warped Tour, and there was a basket on the table in front of Ronnie full of stuff, full of just random things, just whatever it may be. I don't even remember. And there was a Wi-Fi router right next to it for the bus. And he was just sitting there looking, and he goes, well, one of these is going out the window, so which is it? And I was like, are you serious? We're like on a highway, you know, like a New York City or something. There's like cars everywhere. And he's like, well, you got to pick, man. You know, you got to pick. And we're just like, well, I really like the internet, so I guess the basket. And he just opens the window, throws a basket out the window, full of crap, cars, and like there's so many like things like that. Like I woke up one day to pee at like probably 4 a.m, and I walk outside, and Ronnie had like torn a pillow open, dumped it on the ground so there's feathers everywhere, and then took protein powder, dumped it on the ground, threw jelly on the ground, and was mashing it in his feet, like screaming at the top of his lungs. And I'm just sitting there, and I just pull out the phone, start filming.
That's the best.
And then like he wakes up in the morning, he's like, "Don't upload that." And I'm like, "I won't." He's like, "But send it to me." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Just do me a favor. Go ahead and text that to me.
Yeah, that's pretty much every story I have is like something going down, and I'm always the dude to film it.
Right.
Always. Like my phone, I'm ready at all times.
The outsider that gets to drink in all the madness.
Exactly.
What are some cool places that you played, or what are like some of your favorite places that you played?
We did Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, which is a lot of people. I don't know what the cap is on it. Probably the biggest show we ever played.
That's insane.
In terms of like outside of a festival kind of thing.
Right.
It was amazing. Like it was just like, when we perform, we're about to go on stage. We don't really have any pre-show rituals or nothing like that. We just kind of like high five each other or pound or something, and then we just go on stage. Like we're not nervous or nothing like that. It's just we've done it I've done it for 2 years now. It's like, we know what we're doing. You know what I mean? But Hammerstein, there was just like this vibe, dude. Like we all just had big grins because we're like, we know this is the biggest show, and there was like a bunch of people there, like that we wanted to impress. And I don't know, man, it was just, there was like excitement in the air, and that's like, it sounds weird because we're performing, and for the fans, it's like they're super excited because they're seeing like one of their favorite bands or whatever.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh my God," they're all stoked, but we're just kind of like, it's whatever. Like, it's hard to explain them to that, but that was one of those things where it was like we were feeding off the crowd's energy, And I mean, we do that every show, but this was like special. It was just
super like electric.
It was, there was like a vibe in the air, just like a good feeling. And we all just had like huge grins on our faces. And we're like, dude, let's kill it. And like, it was the best show we've ever played. Like, it could not have done better.
That's so sick.
That was probably my favorite show ever. Definitely.
Have you been anywhere exotic in your travels?
We did New Zealand and Australia last year.
What'd you think of it?
I love it. It's like weird America. Like they don't have like a Best Buy there. It's called something like, I don't even remember what the name of it is. Just had a weird name. Everything's weird. Like the Zoomies or whatever there is called like Crocodile or something like that. I remember. And I was like walking around. Everything's bizarre. Like everything's just a little bit off. Like they just turned a dial like one notch.
That's awesome.
But I haven't been to Europe yet, and we're trying to get into United Kingdom.
That really blows my mind that you haven't been to the UK yet.
Well, we can't because Ronnie's a felon.
Gotcha.
And they have like really strict laws.
Gotcha. About
like Canada. They're really weird. But
we could never go to Canada because we had just like members that even if you got like a DUI or something like that, you're not allowed in. It's pretty strict, honestly.
I dated a girl who went to college in Toronto, and then she came back for like spring break or something and got a DUI, and then like tried to go back up, and they're like, "No, sorry."
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, I have a friend. His name's Simon, and he's the lead singer of a band called Alvarez Kings. And it's kind of funny because he had like a work visa to be in the U.S. and did Warped Tour, and then he went into Canada, and they got into Canada just fine. And then when Warped Tour was leaving Canada, they were just like, "Whoa, hey, this visa is just for the U.S. and or whatever the case might have been," and they let the whole band go, but just the singer of the band, they detained him in Canada for like 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
So he's from the UK doing Warped Tour in the United States. They have like 1 or 2 Canada dates, and then he's stuck in Canada for like 2 weeks in the middle of Warped Tour.
Wow.
Strict, man.
That sucks.
I have 4 listeners in Australia.
Nice. Very nice.
4 listeners in Australia. And just because you're talking about going to New Zealand and Australia, hopefully that number is going to grow a little bit. But I'm going to assume that they're probably my friends in the band called the City Shakeup that I did Warped Tour with. And if they're not, hey guys, just tell me who you are. But my favorite thing about anyone that I ever met from Australia, and like the dudes from like Hands Like Houses and stuff like that, could have been them. I don't know. Could be them that are listening. But what I love about it is their attitude is always just like, I talked to Cam from the City Shakeup, and he's talking about like, he fell asleep and wrecked the van on Warped Tour. Didn't wreck it insanely, but fell asleep at the wheel. Could have seriously hurt himself and anybody else.
Yeah, could have. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, man, are you guys okay? And he's just like, fuck it, mate, who cares? It'll come
Dude.
out in the wash. Like, they didn't
Exactly.
care at all. And I
There's-
was just like, I want that attitude, because literally if one thing doesn't go my way, I'm harping on it all day long.
Oh, me too, dude. I'll think about it for years.
Exactly. That dude that overcharged you at Far Out Music.
I still remember what he looks like and everything.
Guys, it's probably, was his name Adam from Far Out Music? I'm not going to call him out, but
I don't know. That
on a
wasn't
national
no.
scale,
No.
bro.
He was an older guy.
Oh, okay. Definitely wasn't him then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'll tell you what, too. I actually got some people to submit some questions.
Okay.
I've tried this before, but like I said, this is like the biggest thing that's ever hit the
Yeah,
Sean vs. Wild podcast.
I retweeted that, and then I checked after like a minute, and there were like a handful of questions. And then I checked an hour later, and there were like hundreds. And I was like,
Hundreds.
oh, sick.
And you know what? I feel like this would be a primo opportunity to do a little Q&A.
All right.
But before we do a little Q&A, I'm going to play a hot new track from Coming Home. I'm going to let you pick. What's your favorite song on the album? That's a very common question that people have been asking.
Favorite song on the album? Oh, man, that's hard. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick a favorite because it changes. Like, I don't know if I can pick a favorite. It's like picking a favorite kid kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
Not that they're my kids or like, you know, but
We don't have any kids, so
Just-
but like
just-
hypothetically,
just
like,
being involved in the process. I think we should. When's this going to come out?
this will probably be, I would say, last weekend of May, or last week of May, first week of June, probably at this point.
Okay, let's do Superhero.
All right, guys, this is going to be Superhero from Falling in Reverse.
A drop in the ocean, a crack in the sky. It's setting the notion we're all gonna die, and you're always running with nowhere to go. You're living for nothing, but dying to know that we're all terrified. I don't wanna be a superhero. 'Cause I can't save the world, so I'm never gonna get the girl. I just wanna do better. Superhero. 'Cause I can't save myself, much less somebody else. So I gotta do better. So I gotta do better. You're caught in a cycle, you'll never get out. Afraid of your shadow and living in doubt. But this isn't over, it's only begun. And there is no order in giving it all up. I don't wanna be a superhero, 'cause I can't save the world, so I'm never gonna get
All right, guys, that was Superhero from Falling in Reverse. Man, that new album. I mentioned it before. It's so sick. If you have the means, guys, I highly recommend you picking one up.
Or just, get it how you can.
Yeah.
Yes. I would prefer you to buy it. But
I mean, if I had my druthers, I would say go ahead and buy it. But
one of the things that I started doing when I joined a band was buying music again. I stopped. I mean, I download every now and again, but it's usually albums that I already have owned. I just lost it, like Master of Puppets or something. I'm like,
Right.
I've already bought this 5 times. Like, I'm good.
right, yeah, exactly. Like, I think Lars Ulrich has got enough money from me.
Yeah. But the whole controversy of him, remember with Napster?
Oh yeah.
Like back in the day, it was like, dude, screw him. Like he already has a mansion. But I'm like, now that I'm in a band, I'm just kind of like, he's right.
Dude, he made a statement. I remember this, and I don't really know what to think about it. But he was just like, "Who are you to tell me how much money my music should make?"
It's true.
And I'm just like, yeah, that's pretty true.
It is because dude, if you put a product out, no matter what it is, and you're like, this is $10. I say it's $10. I made this. This is $10. And you just rip it for free. It's like you kind of just took $10 from me, dude.
Exactly.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's what you did. I get it, dude. If you're totally broke, but at the same time, it's you have internet. How do you have internet if you're broke?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions.
How do you have so much internet here?
I think I've definitely downloaded albums from bands that I didn't really know much about, Portugal the Man was one of them, where I
Sure.
downloaded a few of them. And then I bought the one I really liked.
Right.
I've done that many times. And I think if you, it's really important to buy, especially first week. First week album sales are the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's always the big thing because I mean the first week album sales, that's what
It's how many true fans do you have?
exactly.
And it's oh, you only have 2,000, and it's kind of or oh, you have 80,000 who are about it, they are diehard. They bought your album the first week. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. So, but now it's going to streaming. I don't know how many we did first week, but we did millions and millions of streams, and that's what counts now. They're literally transitioning.
Isn't that so strange?
Yeah.
It's not the physical sales anymore.
Yeah, our manager told us. He goes, I think he said in 9 months, he's first week album sales are going to be obsolete. Does not matter. He's
That's insane.
It's all streams. We're going to look at streams instead of first week album sales.
Let me ask you this, just off the record. How do you feel about that? How do you feel that it's just going the way where there's not going to be any tangible items anymore unless you just go back and press it just for posterity?
Yeah, like a vinyl or something. I kind of don't care. I mean, I know a lot of people have really strong opinions about it. I've never been one to buy CDs ever since iTunes was a thing, just because it's so much easier to just have it on your phone. But I do agree there's Tool 10,000 Days, the album cover has the 3D goggles in it, lenses, and you fold it open and put your eyes in these lenses and you look at the album booklet and it's all 3D imagery. And I'm dude, that is so sick. You have to buy that album.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get that off iTunes.
On an iTunes. You're just going to look at the, if it comes with an album art, for that, you just look at it and go, oh, those are cool pictures. It's cool. And it's no, dude, it's an experience.
Right, yeah.
They literally won a Grammy for their packaging.
That's why I'm not the biggest vinyl aficionado or whatever, but I've been really just investing more into having an LP of something, just because it's a nice big picture.
I get it,
and
yeah.
And it's support. It's me supporting. I
mean, I still buy books, even though you can just download them on your phone or whatever, or
right.
a Kindle or something. But I like buying the book. I have a big bookshelf full of books.
What have you been reading lately? Because I'm a big reader, and you're probably the first person that really has been oh, I like to read a lot of books and play music, and I'm oh, talk to me about that.
Right. Well, I got into Joe Rogan's podcast. I've been listening for years, and Graham Hancock. Mm-hmm. I bought a couple of his books. Then I bought not to get political, but a bunch of libertarian books.
Sure.
So Ron Paul and stuff, Murray Rothbard. I bought that stuff. John Ronson, there's a book on psychopaths. Excuse me, psychopaths that I bought. just kind of all over the place. Like
Right.
whatever like grabs my attention. I
love a lot of true crime. Something about like true crime, serial killers, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of morbid, but I'm like super into that. And when it comes to fiction, and I'm mostly like sci-fi right now, that's kind of what I've been into.
I don't know why I can't do fiction.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think because there's so many real stories that I'm almost like, I just want to check these out before I do the fake ones.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's so much there's enough history here. Like I can dive into that.
Fiction's become something that I just kind of got into over the past like 2 or 3 years, because before I was like super just doing true crime, biography, autobiography, stuff like that. But really, like the 19th century Russian literature
That's random.
is so sick. I would highly recommend, like, read Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky, and it will blow your mind.
Really?
Yeah. And then, so I was super into that. And then, I've been on a sci-fi kick lately because I randomly was like, I'm going to read this book called Dune. My brother-in-law gave me this book Dune to read, and it just sat for like 2 years on my bookshelf, and I was like, oh, I'll get around to it.
Right.
And then about a year and a half ago, I read it, and I was like, oh my God. It's probably the most woke novel I've ever read in my life. No joke.
Woke?
Yes, it's probably
Oh
the
my
most.
God.
The kids are saying that these days.
Yeah, they're saying woke. Actually, I kind of back woke.
Yeah.
I don't really say much slang, but woke is, I back it.
Yeah. Well, dude, you and I probably have very similar. I mean, I look at some of your social media posts and stuff like that, and we have very similar opinions on the world and
Yeah.
how the world runs.
I get in trouble for those.
Hey, man.
They're like, you shouldn't say that. And at the same, I kind of want to be like, dude, Donald Trump's president.
Yeah. What can you do?
I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
like that guy says whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's the president.
Yeah.
He's the highest, top of the
You
food
can
chain.
just say, hey, I'm just following your immature example.
Yeah.
And then the next week, Sean vs. Wild podcast is shut down because I just said that.
Right.
So what can you do? All right. But I told everybody, I promised everybody a Q&A sesh, and I'm not going to lie to you. So I have my Twitter up, and I'm going to go over some of these questions, not all of them. First off, I'm going to just right off the bat, I got to make sure this gets out here because it was the first one. So I applaud your, I applaud your being so punctual. But from at Kevin Fletcher, you know Kevin Fletcher.
Oh, yeah, Kevin.
Dear Christian.
Great guy.
Why are you so buff? Just had to throw that out there.
I saw that one.
Yeah, man. What's your secret, bro? Low carb, obviously. No carb, maybe even.
Yeah, well, I mean, I eat carbs. I eat under 50 grams a day. So essentially, like, I don't know, 2 pieces of bread worth of carbs a day. I just stick to like eggs. I eat like the same meal almost like every day. There's like 5 kind of go-tos.
Are you like on that slow carb diet, Tim Ferriss style?
I'm not, but actually I'm reading Tools of Titans right now.
I have Tools of Titans right up there, actually.
The sickest book,
Did
dude.
we just become best friends? Yep. I got Tools of Titans right up there behind you.
I love Tim Ferriss, man. If you guys need to check out the Tim Ferriss podcast. That is like him and Joe. I think his is better than Joe Rogan's, but I like
his is definitely more useful.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like I'll listen to his and then just be motivated all day long. I'm like, you know
Yes.
what? I got a plan. I'm going to do this, and this is how I'm going to excel.
There's like a format to his podcast. Like, you know how you always ask the same, like, kind of 5-10 questions there at the end or whatever. I love that. And, like, Joe Rogan sometimes can just, like, it can go off the rails, and then they're just, like, talking about hunting, and I'm just like, I'm not into this. And I just have to, like, you just have to, like, drudge through it for 30 minutes, and then it gets back, and you're like, kind of like this podcast, probably.
Yeah, this podcast, we haven't went on the hunting tangent yet. That's part 3.
So, I just, I basically don't eat carbs, but for once a week. So what I do is like you times your body weight by 0.25, and that's how many carbs you can eat. Like how many grams of carbs.
That's 25%, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So whatever your body weight is, mine's 170 times that by 0.25 equals, I think it's 42 or something like that. And that's how many carbs I can eat a day. On Thursdays, I times it by 1. So I can eat 170 grams of carbs. And then on Sunday, I go off. That's like my cheat. Like
Your cheat day.
I don't really do cheat days, but I do cheat meals.
Gotcha.
And I will go off. Like I will go to Cheesecake Factory. I'll get literally like I'll look at the menu and be like, I want like the pasta.
I'll have the left side of the menu.
Exactly.
And I will have the right.
Half the right, actually, because I'm having donuts later. That's like my thing. It's donuts. I'm absolutely obsessed with them.
I'm super into donuts. Obviously.
Have you had Jeff's Bakery down here?
I have not yet.
Dude, you literally got to go there. Like, it's the best. The best apple fritter.
Apple fritter is my favorite. Is apple fritter your favorite?
The best, dude. I've been all over the country. I've had donuts like in every city. The best apple fritter. I swear to God, I'm not making it up. And arguably the best glazed donut. Original glaze, just normal. Arguably the best.
How long are you going to be in town for, bro?
I think like 4 days.
All right. Well, we're going to have to get Jeff's Bakery. That's for sure. I have a question here, just a general question from Hannah B. Hannah B at Hannah6452. She submitted a lot of questions. So here's one. Very broad. What inspires you?
That is broad. This will sound like a terrible answer. Money's pretty tight.
I have a little. I keep it on a jar on top of my refrigerator.
Right.
I'd like to put more in that jar.
I don't like to say money because it almost seems, I don't know, like cringeworthy answer. Like, oh, this dude's a sellout. But like, I like nice things. You know, I like guitars. And when you have money, you can buy more guitars. And I love the feeling, you know, for so many years, I had that feeling where when I went to swipe a credit card, there was anxiety because I was like, this might not work. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
it's happened a couple times where I've been to the grocery store. And one time I was with a girl and it happened. And like, I had to like call my parents and be like, dude, just throw money on there. I'm with a girl. Like, Jesus Christ, save me.
I'm just trying to get a couple Capri Suns.
Right. Save me. So, you know, swiping that card and not having to worry about it, just like, unless it's like, you know, I'm buying a Porsche on a card, but like, you know what I mean? Like I can
Right.
go anywhere to any restaurant. I can go buy shoes. I can go to Guitar Center, like whatever. And I don't have to worry about it. And that feeling is amazing.
Yeah. Especially from where we come from, because where we're from is mostly, at best, middle class, but a lot of like lower middle class
Yeah,
and stuff
dude.
like that. That's our background.
Yep.
So being able to support yourself, support your family,
Yeah.
and not have a lot of worries, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's got to be an awesome feeling.
And by the way, shout out to my family because I'm very lucky to where they're not like loaded, but they're well off, you know? And they've always had my back. So like, I know that's a luxury that most people probably don't have, but
That's awesome.
They definitely helped me out, man. Like I literally wouldn't be here without them, and everyone always says that, but I would not have instruments, you know, if like they didn't buy them for me basically for Christmas and stuff. Like they always had my back. Like whatever I was into, I'm one of those people that like whatever I'm into, I'm into it. And if I don't like it, I'm straight up not doing it. That's why I failed everything in high school, every class except history, because I was like, dude, history's sick. And I got like a
Mr. Reinbold is sick.
I got like a 98% or something in there, or like, and then like a 92 the next year, and everything else. I'm not exaggerating. Math had a 3%. The dude, it got so bad that the dude was like, dude, just write your name on the paper and I'll give you some points.
Oh my God.
I will give you, just do that. And I was just like, all right, I'll do that. That's it.
That's how I got my 3%.
That's it.
Sarah P _ BVB must be a big Black Veil Brides fan,
Probably.
or some other BVP. I think BVB.
Borussia Dortmund. It's a soccer club. I think their initials are BVB.
All right, could be that. She might be into that.
Probably not that.
The scariest experience on tour with Falling in Reverse.
Scariest. I would say it was actually last week at Carolina Rebellion, because our in-ear monitors like crapped out. So I performed pretty much the entire show either with zero sound at all, could not hear myself like at all, like literally deaf, or the sound was so loud that it was making my eyes water and my ears like bleed. There was no in between. It was just like
That's insane.
pure noise at full blast. It's like putting your head against a speaker at a concert or nothing.
Now you know how drummers feel.
Yeah. So performing that in front of like a bunch of people and not being able to hear yourself is terrifying, because you're like, I don't know if I'm playing the right notes. I mean, I'm like good enough at guitar and like been doing this for so long that like, you know, it's almost muscle memory, but that was terrifying. That was like a disaster.
All right, I've got Beep on Twitter. I don't know. A lot of people said this. I don't know. They're just favorite fan experience.
Favorite fan experience.
Favorite.
I don't know.
Somebody probably brought you donuts, didn't they?
No one's brought me donuts.
Guys, if you're listening, apple fritter, send one to Christian.
Apple fritter, glaze, cinnamon roll.
Dude, you are speaking my language.
Just the basics.
We have the same taste in donuts though, because I'm not into like anything filled with like exotic jams and jellies.
No.
Or custards.
No. Absolutely disgusting.
The worst is anything that's filled with cream. I'm not into.
Dude, I hate that.
We have the. Did we just become best donut friends? We're going to Jeff's Bakery right after this, guys. It's got to be a thing. And I'm going to follow that up with what is the worst fan experience you had?
Okay, so it's basically probably can't say. Had a pedal board on stage, bunch of pedals, and a fan flew on stage. Someone's crowd surfing, just launched her, and she landed on my pedal board in the middle of a solo. And I'm like ripping some licks, and then all
Here
of a sudden,
I am with the tasty licks.
and all of a sudden I'm in a clean tone, and it's just like do 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 do. And I don't know. That was pretty much. I really can't say the other ones.
Hey, that's pretty bad though.
Yeah, it sucked.
I mean, it's ruining.
It happened like 4 or 5 times. It was in Florida, and Belay was performing with us. He was doing Alone with us,
Damn.
It happened during that song. It happened a bunch of times. Like the Florida crowds are pretty wild down there.
Yeah, you know what? The biggest drawback from Florida is like it's always 100,000 degrees, and then it will rain.
It's a sauna
and become 100,002 degrees.
Yeah,
in Florida. I have to give a big shout out to Bean at 3punk5y0u. Dude, some of these are hilarious. But here's the deal. This is going to be lightning round because she posted, I don't know, I haven't looked at the picture. He or she, Bean at 3punk5y0u, did post a shitload of questions. So it's going to be pretty simple, rapid fire.
Okay.
Question number 1, dinosaurs or dragons?
Great question. I'll do dragons.
Yeah, good answer.
I'm Year of the Dragon, 1988.
Oh, nice.
Easy.
I'm Year of the Tiger.
That's a cool one. I hate when people are like, "You're the
rat."
You're just like, sorry, dude. I'm Dragon. See ya.
I'm Tiger, man. Me and Dio, man. Ride the tiger. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite band?
Right now, Muse.
Vampires or wolves? She actually just said wolves. Probably meant werewolves.
Michael Vampire.
Nice. Mermaids or unicorns?
I'm gonna go with, I guess, unicorns.
K-pop or country?
K-pop, 100%.
Dude,
I dated a Korean girl. She got me into it.
To anyone?
Yeah.
Are you into To Anyone?
They're all right.
Hey, they're all right. Maybe you can, show me some even cooler ones because To Anyone's like the big one that I know of.
Well, we had a bad breakup, and I kind of erased all that from my memory.
Oh, gotcha.
She actually moved back to Korea. Literally,
you know what? She's like, I'm over you.
No,
I'm going back.
She's like, I'm out of here. Like, I can't take this anymore. I was like, oh my god, a little dramatic.
North Korea, probably, right?
Yeah,
she must be a North Korean. Wow, that was horrible. That was horrible. Here's a fun one, I guess. Ronnie or Derek?
I guess Ronnie. I don't know. They're both sick.
Yeah, pretty cool. It's like,
you can't make me pick like that.
Lemon or lime? I don't know. It's the same. That's it for Bean's rapid fire. A lot of people are asking the question, what's your favorite song to play and what's your least favorite song to play?
Least favorite song to play. I don't know. I kind of enjoy playing all. I guess Chemical Prisoner, just because the solo is really hard. Like the solo is like pretty tough. But I still like playing it. My favorite right now is probably Rolling Stone. The crowd goes pretty wild for that one.
Isn't it though? You're talking about like the solos like really difficult. I'm the same way because anytime I had any parts that were really tricky, I'm like, now I have to sit around and just concentrate.
Yeah, you're you're proud of it or whatever. Like I didn't write that solo, but like I guess for you're like stoked. You're like on the album. You're like, yeah, you heard that part.
Yeah,
and then live you're like,
down.
oh god,
oh don't blow it, don't blow it, don't blow it.
Yeah,
and then you blow it.
That's definitely one of those solos where when it comes up, there's like a tapping lick that's like really hard. And I definitely have psyched myself out and like totally bombed like several times.
This is one of my favorite questions, and I mentioned this earlier because I laughed. Do you like Sleeping with Sirens?
They're not my cup of tea.
You heard it first, guys.
They're nice guys, but it's just I'm not really into the Warped Tour music. I don't know. I'm just not really into it. I think it's because like I'm in that world and I don't want to be influenced by it. You know what I mean? Like we want to be different. Our band wants to be different, and I think we are. So I don't really listen to that kind of stuff because like I don't want to draw any inspiration from it or anything. And if I like it, then I'll definitely like draw inspiration from it.
Sure. And also too, when you're like at your level or even as little success as I had, like at my level, you don't really look at bands as being like what you're into listening to because they become your peers.
Yeah.
And you're just like, they're cool guys.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah, like they're tight. Like
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really into the Warp music too much.
What's your favorite Lunchable? That was actually a question someone asked.
I guess like pepperoni pizza.
All right, guys. At Cerna_Klatz1234. That's probably a fake Twitter. If you're listening, pepperoni, you heard it. Yeah, pepperoni is the one that was most customizable, so
Yeah,
I don't blame you for that.
I look back and I want to look. I need to look at the nutrition on that, but I bet it's horrific,
Dude, I bet that's just cardboard instead of a crust.
dude. Like, and I see like my nephews eating stuff like that, and like McDonald's and stuff. And I mean, I have that every once in a while, but like, I'm just like, oh my god, this is really bad stuff. It's not good.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's just probably pure gasoline in like a solid form. Let's see. What are some guitarists that influenced your guitar playing? That's from Vico Igazi.
So probably, I'll just in no particular order: Eddie Van Halen, Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, Paul Gilbert, and then as of recent, Noel Gallagher, Matt Bellamy, and I don't know his name. I think it's Luke. This band Press to Miko.
I have to check them out.
Yeah, they're just like they're literally like some random band from England. They don't have many followers, but they are like sick. They're a 3-piece band. There's no lead singer. They all do lead vocals. They all like do harmonies and interchange, and it's really it's like Dance Gavin Dance, Fall of Troy, but like more. It's almost like choir boys picked up some instruments and then like just became super shredders.
That's awesome.
That dude's a lot like Nick Spencer of Jovian, where his riffs are just very creative and like his chords that he uses are just like way different than anything you've really like heard before.
That's so sick.
Those 3 dudes right now are my favorite.
I'm so glad that you actually brought forth like names like Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah.
Because I feel like probably a lot of people that are listening to this may not know about these insane, like the 80s for me is like just a year of complete shredding.
Yeah, man.
Guitars.
That's when it went to the next level. Like Yngwie dropped, I think it was Rising Force in 84. Or no, maybe it was earlier than that. But I didn't know about shredding, you know? Like I thought Jimi Hendrix was like, that's as good as it got.
Right.
And then I walk into my guitar lesson and he had a picture of Yngwie on the wall, like wearing like some spandex or something, you know what I mean? And I was like, dude, who's this clown? And he's like, you don't know him? And I was like, Jingui? I was like, nah, I don't know.
Yingui?
He's like, dude, I'll be right back. And he went out to his car and handed me Rising Force. And he's like, that's your homework for the week, is just listen to this. And I heard it and it just blew my mind. Because I didn't know that was capable. I didn't know that was a thing. Like shredding, sweeping and tapping and all that. Like,
right.
I did not know that was a thing. So it just blew my mind, and I came back and I was like, hey, I want to do that. And he's like, that's going to be a lot of work. And I was like, fine. And I was probably like 3 or 4 months into guitar playing. 8 months in, I could play like 4 of the songs.
That's sick.
Because I was like, that's how dedicated I was. Like I was saying, like if I'm in it, I'm in it.
Yeah.
And I was in guitar. And my parents saw that, and they bought me a Steve Vai signature, because they were like,
with like the cutout.
Yeah, he's like, he's in it, and I still own it to this day. I'll never get rid of it. It's the best guitar I own still.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Yngwie is amazing. He like wrecked his Porsche and damaged his hand, had like nerve damage, and came back and was like even better at guitar.
Dude, he's still sick. I just saw him like not too long ago. do an interview like either with Eddie Trunk or whatever, and they played some of the new music, and it's like he's still absolutely just mind blowing with how good he is.
He's really good.
Speaking of other 80s stuff, here's some people you might have heard of them. I don't know. Have you ever heard of or some people you might check out is Vinnie Vincent? Have you ever heard? He had a group called Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
I've heard of him.
And Mark Slaughter sang from the band Slaughter. You probably heard of Slaughter before. Slaughter. But his guitar work is nuts. I'm a big Kiss fan. You see like the Kiss poster here. Yep. Vinnie Vincent was in Kiss for one album. He was in during the Lick It Up album.
Okay.
But he was only in it for one album, and then he did some co-writes and stuff. But speaking of just like shredding, absolutely fantastic.
Really? Okay.
Definitely check them out. UFO. Did you ever get into UFO?
Yeah, wasn't Michael Schenker the guitar player?
Yes. Well, I don't know. I can't remember if Michael Schenker is the guitarist, but because the other Schenker is in the Scorpions, and they're brothers.
Yes.
It probably is Michael Schenker, though. I can't remember if it's Michael that's in UFO or if it's the brother that's in UFO.
And then I think Vinnie Moore was in UFO.
Yes.
And that guy is nuts.
UFO is probably one of the most underrated bands for me. My uncle is everything I know about music comes from him, and he's like, just as your guitar teacher was like, here's your homework.
Yeah.
That's how my uncle was growing up. He's like, here's UFO, here's Alice Cooper, here's this or that.
Yeah.
That's your homework.
I got into music like late, man. Like not until I had my license.
Really?
Yeah, my parents were just like, at the time they were just like really restrictive when it came to that. They're like Christian and stuff, and they were just like, no, you're not listening to this stuff. They were very authoritarian.
Well, now I know where you got your name.
Yeah. It just makes a lot of sense now. So my guitar teacher like got me into music. Like Tim Pitts from Mom's Music.
Shout out to Tim Pitts.
Shout out to him, dude. Because like without him, I would not be the guitar player I am. That dude, like, he knows how to like nurture talent, as like arrogant as that is to say. Like he knew what to do with me.
Right.
I guess he like saw something and he knew where to direct me and when to do it. Because like I said, like within like 8 months of playing guitar and playing Yngwie songs, like
that's insane.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, I feel, and it's all him. Like he showed me the way. I remember like when I wanted to learn Yngwie, I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And he's like, it's a lot of work. I'm like, it's fine. I was like, let's go. And he's like, no, not yet. You're not ready. Like that's how he was. He's like, you got to learn how to do this and that, and we got to learn how to do this, and then that, and then he just built me up to where I could do that stuff like very quickly. And I was also dedicated too. I mean, I spent hours in my room. I would literally wake up for school I would wake up about 6:30, and I'd reach over and grab my guitar and throw headphones on and play as much as I could until the bus came, and then I'd like come straight home and play guitar until I went to bed. Like every night. That's what I did.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to be. I got the Rocksmith game.
Right.
I got a bass guitar now. This is a new thing for me.
Yeah.
You've inspired me. Now, just to wind down, because here we are. We're already 52 minutes.
Wow.
Into the second podcast. So just to wind things down here, the big thing for me is like, like I said, we do come from the same kind of small town and all that sort of thing. What would you say? I guess let me ask you this question. What would you say, or what advice would you give for anybody that's out there listening that may come from less than ideal locations, or that have a dream, whether that is to play music or whatever the case might be? Like, what kind of inspiration or what kind of advice would you give those people in a Tim Ferriss type scenario? You already know what's up.
My first would be, don't be scared to take risks. Because, I took a huge risk moving out to California to join a stranger's band, and it led to this. And, that's not going to happen every time, obviously. But, like, if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't be working at GE, because they, like, liquidated. They just completely got rid of where I worked.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where I'd be. I have no idea. People are like, what would you do if you... I'm like, dude, I don't know. Because, like, I would say, I'd be working at the factory. Like, I make good money. And... that job doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know what I'd be doing. I don't have a degree or anything. So I would be screwed, basically. Like, I don't know. I have no idea.
It would be very unknown.
Right.
Insecure.
So, I guess it's like, take risks, but be smart about it. Like, don't be an idiot. Like, use your intuition. You know when you should be doing something and when you shouldn't. Like, but the nervousness, use it to your advantage, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that question, but I guess that would be my answer.
Dude, that's a great answer though, because I've said that multiple times that failure is a thing that a lot of people are afraid of, genuinely afraid of it. And
Yeah.
especially with like, the internet and phones and everybody's got a camera. And if you fail hard enough, I mean, that thing's going to get on the internet and you'll never live it down. Or at least that's kind of what people might think.
Yeah.
So they're afraid to take a big chance or they're afraid to put themselves out there.
Dude, there's like, people generally don't care for the most part. It's
Yeah.
like, you're just psyching yourself out, man.
Yeah. That's your own like ego telling you that.
You got to get rid of that.
Exactly.
The ego is like the worst thing, man. I just bought a book called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. I haven't read it yet, but
Have you read A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle?
I've not.
Eckhart Tolle.
I already talked about it. Yeah, I haven't read it.
I'll let you borrow it. It's very great. It's all about the ego.
Yeah.
But just to kind of get back to that, the thing is so many people are afraid to take a chance because they think that if they fail, they're going to fail on a grand scheme, or a grand scale. But I always just tell everybody, dude, failure is literally the greatest teacher.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you learn by failing. You don't learn by winning
absolutely.
all the time.
No, dude, that's like, when like rich kids or rich parents like spoil their kid always ends up jacked up, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, then like you always hear of like Oprah Winfrey, who's like broke, her family's broke, and now she's like the richest person in the world kind of thing. Like, she would not have been Oprah if it wasn't for that upbringing, like working for everything that she has.
Right.
If you're just given stuff, you don't value it, dude. I'm guilty of it, dude. My parents spoiled me. They've definitely, I will be the first to admit that they've like, given me money, dude. There was literally a point where they gave me a credit card and I just swiped it. Like, didn't even think about anything.
Right.
Now I'm like ashamed to admit that because I'm just like, oh my God, that's so bad. Like, I did not work for anything for a couple of years. They just like didn't care. Then finally they're just like, dude, you're cut off.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And now looking back, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that was me.
Yeah.
I can't believe, because like now I guess I'm just driven or something. I don't know, but
I guess I got this thing called like drive and inspiration and I'm like
Ambition.
working hard and I don't know what's going
yeah,
on
I
with
mean,
that.
I've never told anyone that, but yeah, dude, like there was just a point where I was going to the skate park every day and just like being a mooch.
Right.
Dude. And I learned nothing, man. I learned nothing. Like, I didn't work for anything. I learned no lessons. I was just a total mooch. And looking back, I'm like ashamed of it because I would much rather be like broke and like trying to do something than just like existing, like being a leech,
Right.
Some parasitic by nature creature thing.
That's the thing, man. Everybody wants to be a diamond. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Otherwise, you're just a lump of coal, bro.
Whoa, what
You know
a
what
quote.
I'm saying? Oh, but yeah. So, Christian, where can people find you on the internet, or where can people find Falling in Reverse on in this world?
I think Falling in Reverse Instagram is just Falling in Reverse. I believe
FIR official.
FIR official. If not, you can find me. Everything is FIR Christian. So Snapchat, my YouTube. I think it's just YouTube/FIR Christian. I'm gonna start doing videos later on, like playthroughs and stuff. I know a bunch of people like charge for that, but I'm just like not. I'm just like, dude, here you go. Just like learn how to play it. Like, just because it drives me nuts when I see people covering my solos and they're playing them wrong. I'm just like, oh, I need to like show that kid how to play it. You know what I mean?
I would like to show you 100% accurately.
Yeah, and
how
not to be
rip
like
this.
a jerk. Like, it doesn't like piss me off. I'm just like, oh man, I need to like put this out so people know how to play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just want to do it for free. So I'm just going to start doing those. I mean, they're not going to be anything crazy. I'm not filming it with a red camera. I'm just going to like put my iPhone up against like the, computer and like record it and then post like a tab and be like, there you go. It's going to be very low budget.
That's awesome, though.
I'm just going to get it out there though. So if
Hey,
you
man.
guys want to learn anything, any songs like guitar wise, off the new album, I don't want to do that with the older albums just because I feel like it's not my place to show how to play that because I didn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
So just new album only. Tell me what you want to learn and I'll post the tab eventually and on YouTube. But everything
Fantastic.
else, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, it's all at FIR Christian.
Man, I thank you so much. And guys, if you liked what you heard, if this is like your first time ever tuning in, feel free to check out Sean vs. Wild podcast at Sean vs. Wild on Twitter, Sean vs. Wild podcast on Instagram. It's on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts and stuff like that. Christian, I could not have asked for 2 better podcast interviews, man. This was
had fun, dude.
fantastic. I thank you so much for joining, man.
Yep.
And then right after this, we'll probably just go to Jeff's Bakery.
Jeff's Bakery.
Let's see. Tomorrow is going to be Tuesday. What's your carb load looking like?
Well, I do this thing called intermittent fasting.
Okay.
You know what that is?
I'm so fat. No, I don't know what intermittent
Okay, well,
fasting
you
is.
basically I only eat 2 meals a day, and I eat the first one at noon, and then I eat my last one like in between noon and 8. So, and then after that, I only have water. So if you guys if you don't want to diet, just eat whatever you normally eat in an 8-hour window, the same every day. So mine's noon to 8 every single day, and then have water after that. That's all you can have is water. Some people say you can have black coffee, but some people say you can't. So I just play it
Who
safe.
wants to drink coffee at that hour?
Well,
That's how old we are. I'm like 31
right.
years old. Like, who wants to have coffee at that hour?
So that's what I do. That's a good way to lose weight, just naturally, is just intermittent fast. Just do a 16-hour fast every day. Because when you're sleeping, you're not eating.
That's true.
You're technically fasting. So the majority of your fasting is while you're sleeping. So use that to your advantage. And I just do noon to 8, eat my meals. And if I cheat, I don't feel that bad because I'm about to fast for 16 hours. So I'll go eat donuts and stuff and, feel a lot less guilty about it because I'm doing something else to counter that.
Right. Well, we're going to eat donuts. And then the next time you see me, I'm going to look just as good as you do.
And I'm
brother.
like, dude, what have you been eating? You're like, donuts.
Do donuts between 12 to 8, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Sean vs. Wild podcast. Christian, thanks again for being
problem,
on
man.
the show, brother.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure.